What's been your strategy for finding housing since you've been traveling?
So my first contract, COVID kicked off. I crashed with a friend for a couple weeks, and then Hilton ended up giving nurses and first responders hotel rooms for like 2 or 3
Yeah.
months. And actually, I think a lot of hotel organizations were doing that. And so
Nobody
I
else
kind
was
of
using them.
yeah, they were empty, and so I rode that way for a little bit, and then right at the end of that, I had a friend that literally lived across the street from the hotel I was staying in Alexandria,
Oh, cool.
and a friend of mine from the Navy, and she had an empty room, and so I just threw an air mattress in it and crashed for like the last 2 weeks I was there, and that was that.
Nice.
And then I told you I did this contract at my parents' hometown. So that was the first time I'd lived with my parents in 21 years, I think.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Gives me anxiety just thinking about it. Sorry,
It
Mom and
was,
Dad.
I mean, they loved it. They loved it.
Oh, of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
I
Of
loved
course
it
they did.
too, Mom. But it was, I just treated them like roommates, and I don't think they really were ready for that. They were just kind of like, why are you taking out the trash? And I was like, because it needs to be done, and they're like, why
Yeah.
are you emptying the dishwasher? I'm like, 'cause
I have
it's
my own
full."
house now. This is just
Yeah.
common things for me to
Yeah.
complete in the house.
So, but that was the first contract that I started working 48s. And then, so I wasn't around the house too much, and then,
Yeah.
because they're older, and Texas, nobody cares about COVID in Texas or East
Yeah.
Texas. And, I played a good bit of golf just to get out of the house, and I'm not really a big golfer. But then I used Furnish Finder to go to Dallas, and I lucked out. If anybody out there wants a good spot, let me know. Because I ended up in this massive house on a lake.
Oh,
It was 20 minutes from work, and the host just let travelers of various industries. So there was a travel IT person there. There was a travel lawyer there. Apparently traveling is not just for nursing.
it's not.
So,
Yeah.
so I
like
got
a
to meet a
little
lot of cool
traveler
people.
hostel.
Yeah, it was a little traveler hostel. Got to meet some really cool people.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really funny because when I went up there to look at when I was getting ready to move up there, my parents were like, "So when is your hotel gonna have a kitchen?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not staying in a hotel." And they're like, "Where are you staying?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm renting a room from this woman." And they're like, "You mean with a stranger?" And I was like, "Yes, Mom. It's
Yeah.
gonna be fine.
I promise.
She's a stranger." But
It's a different world.
yeah, and the
Airbnb.
host was amazing. She spent her days making TikToks and talking, doing readings, like tarot readings and stuff like that. And she was just the most warm-hearted person that I've
Aw.
met. And so, and then when I came to Austin, I had a friend that we reconnected after 20 years of, we'd been in the Navy together 20 years ago as little 18-year-old kids. And I met him, we reconnected on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey man, you got any friends that need a roommate?" And like within 5 minutes, he had me a spot to live. So
That's
I
awesome.
just kind of lucked out.
It's good to have. I
So-
mean, you network so much as a traveler. You meet so many people, and
Yeah. So I think, my next contracts, I'm looking at places where I don't know anybody, so it's going to be interesting. But I would just say, you got to check all your bases: Facebook, Furnish Finder, Craigslist if you're really brave. And
There's
just
a bunch.
see what pops up.
Pad Mapper is another one. Hot Pads, I think. Those are maybe there's city specific, but I've looked on those before. There's so many. I mean, Furnish Finder is one of the biggest ones, I feel like. I've used
Yeah.
Furnish Finder. I've looked out on that. I think I did Facebook Marketplace too. Found rooms there.
Yeah. I've talked to a bunch of people that, when they stayed in hotels and long stays and Airbnbs, and, my father's frugalness is running strong in me. So I try not to do those. Those aren't usually my first option.